I'm sorting through all the useless bills and resolutions introduced into Congress to see which member of Congress proposes the most useless legislation. Currently, Senators Cory Booker, Ed Markey, and Richard Blumenthal are all tied for first place with 9 pieces of useless legislation each. This week, we have 24 pieces of legislation to get through, so let's get started. As always, we'll begin with all the holidays, weeks, and months introduced into Congress. That includes National Naloxone Awareness Day, that life-saving medication that RFK Jr. is trying to defund, Veterans Get Outside Day, World Oceans Day, and World Franchise Day, because God forbid we forget about franchises. It's also Danish Constitution Day and Philippines Independence Day, to honor the 127th anniversary of the independence of the Philippines, before the United States annexed them and started a bloody war that resulted in at least 200,000 civilian deaths. But, a holiday is still a holiday. Don't forget Hidradenitis Suppurativa Awareness Week, National Men's Health Week, the concept, not the magazine, ALS Awareness Month, and Veterans Appreciation Month, which I'm sure has absolutely nothing to do with the yearly attempts by Republicans to whine that the LGBTQ+ community gets their own month in June while veterans get nothing, somehow blissfully ignorant to the fact that just last month was Military Appreciation Month and November is already Veterans and Military Families Month. Nothing to do with that. It's also the 250th birthday of the United States Army and the 100th birthday of the late Barbara Bush, which means that the United States Army is 2.5 Barbara Bushes old. This resolution condemns the terrible attack on Boulder, Colorado earlier this month, which is commendable. There have been multiple resolutions already condemning that attack. But it also included a provision to trick Democrats into showing support for ICE, the organization currently disappearing people off the street, which has a 79% disapproval rating from Democratic voters. And it worked. 75 Democrats voted in favor of this resolution, thanking ICE for all the hard work they do. If you're wondering why so many left-leaning voters don't respect Democrats, it's because they're either so gullible or so careless that they continue to fall for stuff like this. This resolution condemns the violent riots in Los Angeles, and this one condemns the violent attacks on law enforcement and military service members during these protests. Do you think we'll get a resolution condemning, say, the police who have intentionally shot innocent journalists simply reporting on the protests? No? This one expresses the sense of the House of Representatives that fatherhood is essential to the development of all children, and that the increased involvement of fathers in the home will lead to economic prosperity, educational excellence, and improved social mobility for children across all racial and ethnic groups, which is, strangely enough, exactly what I wrote in my dad's card for Father's Day. This one condemns James Comey for that 8647 post he did back in May. Brother, that was a month ago. It took you a month to write like a page about it. Expressing the sense of the House of Representatives that the United States must take action to address the national housing crisis. You already know my critique, so I'll let Shia LaBeouf handle it for me.
Do it! Just do it!
This is a Republican-led resolution expressing the sense of the House of Representatives that Social Security should be preserved and protected for generations to come. Well, I'm convinced. This one asks Pete Hegseth please to not go ahead with his plan to rename these naval ships, which are all currently named after famous civil rights leaders who are all either women, people of color, or belonging to the LGBTQ+ community. I wonder why Pete Hegseth wants to change those names. As you might have noticed from the little name tags at the bottom of each bill on these videos, only one person is allowed to serve as the lead sponsor on any piece of legislation in Congress. But this bill would allow 2 people to serve as joint sponsors if they come from different parties, which, if nothing else, will greatly screw up how I currently write this series. And to show that not every piece of legislation is useless, here's one that I kinda like. It would prevent ICE agents from wearing clothing or other items bearing the word police, because ICE agents often pretend to be police in order to trick people into complying with their orders, which sure sounds like a crime, so good job, Representative Nydia Velasquez, and everyone else, make sure you triple check that the person pounding on your door is actually a cop before listening to anything they say. So if we look at the leaderboard, the top spots have remained the same, but Republicans and Democrats are now nearly tied for total useless legislation so far this year. If you'd like to see the full list, you can go to this link right here, and join us next week for even more useless legislation on Useless Legislation Friday.